Hello, my name is Jonathan Walston. This video is for FTT210. It is July 27th, 2025, and today we will be inletting the lock for our muzzle loader. The firearm is in a safe condition. Following all the safety rules, it is obviously unable to fire. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our lock assembly here, and we're going to coat it with this solution so that we can set it into the gun and see what areas need clearanced for the inletting process. So we've got our solution on our lock. We're going to insert that into the stock now. A little bit of excess right there. And now we're going to remove this, and we should be left with a good idea of where we got a clearance material. Alrighty. Okay. Alright, so now we're going to take our chisels and we're going to clearance material as needed. Wrong one. Alright, so we've already removed a little bit of material. I'm going to continue. Probably the heaviest area is going to be up here on the top and a little bit on the edges right here. We're just going to remove and test fit and remove and test fit over and over and over again until we can get this thing in there nice and smooth. So I'll go ahead and show you clearance in a little bit of this, but we're not going to video the whole thing because if we do, it will be a very, very long video. Alright, just going to keep doing that little bits at a time, and I'll come back in a second and show you how it fits. Alright, we're coming back in with our first test fit after removing a little bit of material. It's still a little tight up here, I see, so we're going to leave that solution on there and get it all the way in there and pull it out. See, it's still a little snug around the edges, so we definitely got some material to remove here, and along this outer edge. Alrighty, I'm just gonna keep taking a little bit off at a time. Alright, we're back for another test fit. As you can see, I've clearanced a lot of material out of there. We're gonna see how she fits. Still, well, no. Alright, let's see how the removal goes. Oh, wow. Let's see if where it's still a little. Alright, we got just a tiny little bit we need to move right there and we'll be good. Alright, so we removed all the material that needs to be removed, and as you can see, we got a nice snug fit. Everything looks like it's good and dropped down into place, and we remove without any creaking or popping. So next we're going to move on to shaping up the brass. So the next thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be evening up and cleaning up this brass prior to inletting the butt plate. So basically we're just going to file here till we're even across and even along this curve here, and then we're going to clearance the wood on the stop. But first we're going to file this down and I'll show you what that looks like when I'm done with it. Alright, so we got this nice and evened up here. We're going to work on this next, and then we'll start fitting it and inletting it into the stock. So far we're making good progress on this, but this side is significantly thicker than this side, so I'm having to work this side down to even this up so we can get this nice and straight. But we're almost there. As you can see, we got a little bit more cutting down to do till we're even, and then we'll just clean up this corner and start fitting it to the stock. So we started inletting it, and we're having to remove a lot of material right here to get this to where there's no daylight through here. But yeah, once we get it in place, we'll get ready and we'll drill our holes for our screws. Alright, so we've cut a good bit in here and got our ridge going. Still seeing a little bit of daylight, so mainly right here. So we're going to continue cutting this away and bring this on up in there and trim it up here a little bit too, file it down. But all in all, for a rough shape, it's getting there. Alright, we got done inletting. We're going to drill our holes and get it mounted. Not seeing any daylight on either side. Good to move on. So, we got this inletted here. There we go. Got this inletted. Got our screws drilled and installed. So yeah, there's definitely going to be some cleaning up here, but I mean, other than that, it's sitting pretty good. I got a little bit of filing to do on this for the preliminary brass cleanup, mainly just right here. But I'm not going to remove much because it looks pretty good. So we'll worry about that when the time comes. And then this right here, we're about to install the foot plate and get this filed down to size. Whoops, get this filed down to size and get this cut at the correct angle to mesh up with that. All right, be right back. Got our foot plate on, screws drilled, angle ground right here, focus. So yeah, there's some material we're gonna have to remove, but it's on there. And now we're gonna file this even here, be flush, and we're gonna get everything together so you can see it. Alright, so right here we have the finished product for this week's assignment. We've got the butt plate and the toe plate inletted, everything filed up and no light showing. And we've got our lock inletted, no coming out with any creaking or anything. She is just sets right in place. Yeah, so guess that's it for this week. Thank you.